Factors like GDP, they change pretty slowly. Inflation also moves kind of gradually. But stock prices can skyrocket or just crash in a matter of minutes. Now both are data, right? And both use statistics. So why do we need a completely separate field called financial econometrics? Because this is where we find out that data does not always play by the rules we expect it to. So the heart of the matter comes down to this one big distinction. On one side, you have got your economic data. Think about things like national income or how much we are all spending. These numbers adjust over quarters, sometimes even years. I mean, people do not just decide to double their spending overnight. But then you have financial data. And this stuff does not adjust, it reacts. And it reacts instantly to news, to expectations, to fear, and even to rumors. This one difference changes absolutely everything. So what makes these two worlds so fundamentally different? Well, there are three key ideas that we are about to explore. The speed of change, the level of fluctuation, what we call volatility, and the absolutely massive role of uncertainty. Okay, first let us take speed. Economic variables are slow because the real world is slow. You cannot just snap your fingers and build a new factory. But you can change your mind about what that factory will be worth in the future in less than a millisecond. And that is the whole game. Financial prices are not really about what is happening right now. They are all about our expectations for the future. And those expectations can flip anything. This brings us to the second huge difference, volatility. This is just a fancy word for how much things jump around. Economic growth, it tends to move within a pretty tight, predictable range. But financial returns, that is a whole different thing. You can have these long, super calm periods followed by sudden extreme turbulence. The most important thing to get here is that in finance, the risk itself is not a constant. It is always changing. And finally, let us talk about uncertainty. See, economic relationships are often guided by solid theories. We have a good idea of how, say, consumption relates to income or price relates to demand. But financial markets, they are driven by speculation, how we perceive risk, and just raw human psychology. Investors are reacting not just to the facts, but to the beliefs about what could happen next. And in that world, randomness is not just some background noise. It is the data. So you have got this wild, high-speed, unpredictable data. Now, what do you think must have happened when economists first tried to take their standard trusted models and just apply them to financial data? Well, as you can probably guess, those old rules they started to break. This is exactly where that classical approach just starts to fall apart. See, the standard models people used for years, these are tools for finding stable patterns. They rely on a few key assumptions, and financial markets just shatter every single one of them. First, we have seen that the classical linear regression model assumes constant variance of errors. In financial applications, this implies that risk is assumed to remain constant over time. But we just saw that is not true. Markets have calm periods and then chaotic ones. Second, the classical regression assumes that errors contain only random noise, that is, they have zero average and no systematic pattern over time. But in finance, shocks have a memory. A crazy volatile day is often followed by another one. And third, classical regression assumes that extreme events are super rare. But we all know that market crashes and massive rallies happen way more often than those models would ever lead you to believe. And this breakdown, this failure of the old ways led people to realize that the problem was not with the data itself. The problem was with the toolkit. Economists were basically bringing a hammer to a job that needed a screwdriver. Now, this brings up a really important question. Does all this mean that those classical models, the ones that had been trusted for decades, were they just wrong? Absolutely not. The models were not wrong at all. In fact, they were and they still are incredibly powerful for the kind of slow-moving, stable data they were built for. The big realization was much simpler. You cannot use a hammer to turn a screw, right? You need a new tool for a new kind of job. And a totally new type of data required a totally new science. And that new science is financial econometrics. And its focus is revolutionary. It is not just about trying to guess the future price of a stock. It is a science that is dedicated to measuring and modeling the very things that were breaking the old ones. Those constantly changing levels of risk, of volatility, and of market uncertainty. Okay, so a new field of science was born. But why should we care? Well, it matters because it is essential for pretty much everything, from preventing the next big market crash all the way down to managing your own personal investments. I mean, just think about it for a second. Investors need to understand the potential risks before they put their hard-earned money on the line. Risk managers at huge banks and companies, their whole job is to make sure the firm does not completely collapse during a crisis. And policymakers, like the people at the central banks, they need these tools to try and keep the entire economy stable. All of them depend on being able to measure that shifting uncertainty. Ultimately, the real mind shift was this. We had to stop looking at financial data as just a static set of numbers to be analyzed. Instead, we had to start seeing it for what it is, a dynamic story, one that is constantly unfolding through time with all the twists and turns you would expect. In the next video, we begin exploring the first great puzzle of financial markets, why markets move through calm and stormy periods.